you get yourself calm. Actually calm. You breathed through it, sat with it, gave yourself time, and for a bit, it works. Then it comes back, same feeling. Like your body has a default setting, and calm is just something you keep overriding. Nobody ever explains why it doesn't hold. Japan did. What they built wasn't a philosophy, an actual practice, built around one precise idea about what's happening inside you when calm keeps breaking. That idea changes everything. By the end of this, you'll understand why, and you'll never approach it the same way again. Before Japan had Buddhism, before it had formal religion, before it had written language, it had practices with no clean Western equivalent. Not religion, not therapy. Something older, a practical answer to what you do when a person comes apart. Not metaphorically, but when you actually fall apart. The way you do after a hard week, a relationship that went sideways, a stretch of time that just quietly unraveled you. One of those practices was called Chinkan. The word means calming the soul, but the soul they meant wasn't vague or decorative. They believed it was mobile, active, alive, with its own movement, and something they believed could become scattered. When it did, it needed to be gathered back deliberately. Here's the specific idea. The soul, what Chinkan calls the tamashii, wasn't thought to be stable. It was thought to have two sides, one that's quiet and knows what it actually needs, and one that's restless. In normal life, they move together, but under stress, a bad day, grief, that constant low-pressure feeling modern life runs at, they split. The restless side pulls outward toward the thing that went wrong, the thing that might go wrong, and the quiet side gets left behind. That background hum that doesn't come from anywhere specific. That's what they were describing. The two parts of you pulling in different directions. And here's the thing that actually matters. They weren't trying to suppress that feeling. They were trying to retrieve the restless part and bring both sides back together. They called that retrieval Chinkan. The reason your calm doesn't hold isn't that you're doing it wrong. It's that you've only been working with one half. So what did the practice actually look like? Sit or stand, spine straight, not braced, alert, then a steady rhythm, breathing, or a slow beat with your hands, something the body could follow without thinking about it, and often a low sound, their own voice, one pitch, held steady, not a chant, just a note. The point wasn't to clear the mind. You can't clear the mind by trying to clear the mind. You know that. The point was to create something consistent, something the restless part of you could actually find its way back to. You're not forcing anything. You're giving the restless part a signal, something that says, this is where we are. Come back. And here's what should genuinely bother you. Neuroscience took 2,000 years to describe the same thing, and it used completely different language to do it. There's a network in your brain that runs hot whenever you're not focused on something specific. It generates the background loop, the replaying, the rehearsing, the unresolved hum. Researchers call it the default mode network. What they describe when it dominates is the same thing Chinkan described as the restless part pulling away from the quiet center. Same structure, 2,000 years apart. Japan also built a companion practice for when this wasn't enough. When the thing that needed settling had gone somewhere harder, it was called Tachikiri, and what it asked, no therapy has ever asked. Before the last part, quick thing. When the feeling came back last time, were you trying to suppress it or retrieve yourself? There's a difference now. Drop your answer below. Chincan was written down in 720 AD, but the practices it records are older than the text. They used it at the imperial court for people who'd become so destabilized by grief and loss that the practitioner believed their soul had drifted somewhere ordinary effort couldn't reach. They didn't call it anxiety, they called it a soul that needed bringing home. If the calm comes back and then goes tonight, you know what's happening now. There's a second step. Tachikiri. If Chincan gathers you back, Tachikiri cuts. It forces you to find the weight and drop it. That's what's next. I'll see you there.